Husbands in Iran are taking pictures of themselves declaring their commitment to female equality, and thousands are sharing their messages all over Facebook. Now, where did this all come from, Jose? So, you remember Nilüfer Ardalan, the female soccer player for Iran. You did the story about it. I mentioned it the other day in another story I did about Iran. She was, if you don't know, the captain of Iran's indoor soccer team. She was barred from leaving the country to go represent Iran in this tournament because her husband didn't let her. Very sad. But the standard marriage contract, which is signed by all newlyweds, states that the man will decide where the family lives, where the woman is allowed to work, and whether she can leave the country or travel. She literally needs her husband's permission. So, for that reason, the husband said, I don't want you to go play in this tournament. You need to be here on our children's first day of schools. So that in itself was a huge story. And now that has sparked dozens of people in Iran, mostly men, who are sending these images of them holding up signs stating their solidarity with women. And they're sending it to this journalist named Masia Ali-Nejad. She's an Iranian journalist who lives in the US now, and she started this Facebook page called My Stealthy Freedom. The page was initially created last year in order to show Iranian women unveiled, because women aren't allowed to leave the house, right, without their veils on. So that's how it started, and now she's posting 2 pictures every single day. They're flooding in. They've been shared, liked over 100,000 times. I think it's really important. I think it's really cool to see men speaking up for women's rights in Iran, because we haven't seen this before.
It goes to show that there's a generational shift in the population of Iran. There's a lot of young people that want to live life differently, and they start seeing that this, I mean, we don't have to go that far. In the 70s, Tehran was a world-class city with, you know, where women enjoyed freedoms like they don't do right now. But also, very important to this case is the fact that the husband of this player is actually a very well-known TV presenter for the state TV. Yeah. He enjoys of a lot of influence, and that's why at the beginning of it, it became so publicized in Iran, this case. Obviously, because Iran is really, you know, it's soccer in Iran is a really popular sport. Everybody's very invested in it. But this you know, journalist, TV presenter, has the connections to the state. And obviously, he will be able to pull the strings to get a positive image of himself around. But I'm glad to see that people is taking action, that especially men are coming out and saying, we don't want to live like this anymore. We believe that women should own their own rights and live their lives as they please, but they have an uphill battle because the Iran regime is very strict about it, and it's going to be tough to see real changes that come from the top.
This is the kind of stuff that I love to see on social media. I think this is what is best about social media, the fact that the world can see that there are open-minded men who support women's rights in Iran, and it's showing the world that, because I'm sure a lot of people don't think about that so much. And social media gives them a chance to show that, hey, we are all for it, and we're not as close-minded as you really think we are in the outside world, because the media doesn't portray us that way. And I totally understand it, and I think this is a really cool project that they're doing. Although you see a lot of people who are coming out and speaking up for women's rights, I'm sure there's also a lot of people in Iran who are against it and want the laws to remain the same way, that they don't want women to be unveiled, they don't want women to vote, they don't want women to do a lot of things, because we see that a lot in other countries too. So I think it's most of the younger people in Iran who hold this sentiment. What do you think? I think they're kind of caught in between this, you know, their old ways and then the Western influence as well.
I agree with you completely. Is this idea that they do have to understand that the regime that is in place will not allow this, and will you know, most likely fight against it as much as possible. But it's important for us in the West to understand that there's a big difference in between the population and the government.
Yes.
And this allows to see that the people of Iran is more alike than different.
Yeah.
Because we get fed this narrative that, dude, Iran is completely different. Right. We shouldn't support, we shouldn't have a deal because these guys are savages. They want to kill the USA. They want to kill America. Well, this is proof that we might be being fed this idea that is not completely right. And we see that they do have the same ideas that we do have.
Exactly.
You know, they have the same values, and they say the same moral compass that they say and come out against the tradition. We want to support equal rights for men and women. I think it's very important that we as a society understand that they might want the same things that we have.
I totally think so. We want to know what you guys have to say, though. What do you think? I think it's pretty cool to see something coming out of Iran other than Death to America chanters. Let us know in the comments below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Lib TV for more.